Hi, my name is Eimear Fitzpatrick and I am the HR Business Partner for Research here in Waterford Institute of Technology. I am also the project lead for a European Commission initiative called the Human Resource Strategy for Researchers. And today I am here to talk to you a little bit about that initiative. In 2014, WIT was awarded the HR Excellence in Research designation by the European Commission under the Human Resource Strategy for Researchers process. WIT was the first institute of technology in Ireland to receive this designation, identifying us as a provider of a high standard working environment for researchers. In particular, it recognises WIT's commitment to implement the principles of the European Charter for Researchers and the Code of Conduct for the Recruitment of Researchers, also known as the Charter and Code. These two documents, addressed to researchers as well as research employers and funders in both the public and private sectors, are key elements in the EU's policy to boost researcher careers. The Charter and Code ensures researchers can enjoy the same rights and obligations in any European country where they choose to conduct their research. The Charter specifically looks at researchers' careers management, whilst the Code looks at open and transparent recruitment and appraisal processes. The European Commission has three main phases in the HR strategy for research process. First of all, an institution must endorse the Charter and Code, and then they apply for the HR award. But before applying for the HR award, they must conduct what is known as a gap analysis, where they look at their current practices and procedures and they benchmark it themselves against the principles of the Charter and the Code. They then come up with an action plan of how they would like to improve the processes and the procedures for researchers within their institution and how they would like to make their environment a more favourable environment for researchers to conduct research. They also complete an open and transparent merit-based recruitment checklist for the recruitment and selection of researchers into their institution. This phase takes approximately 12 months in total. Once this has been done, we then apply to the European Commission, where they decide whether or not the institution would be granted the award. And as I mentioned in my previous slides, WIT were successful in obtaining this award in 2014. We then move into what's known as the implementation phase, where we try to implement and embed the actions across the institute. This process takes approximately 24 months. Once this has been complete, we conduct an interim assessment and we produce a revised action plan outlining and identifying new areas where we would like to continue to improve the environment for our researchers. So I'm pleased to say in 2016, WIT was successful in retaining the award at the interim assessment phase. We then moved into the implementation of the revised action plan, which took us to approximately 36 months to do so, which has now led us on to where we are currently at here in WIT with the award, where we have moved into the award renewal phase. We are anticipating a visit from the European Commission in January 2020, where a number of evaluators will come to WIT to conduct a site visit, and they will decide whether or not WIT has successfully embedded the HR strategy for researchers in our culture here in the Institute. So our approach to HR strategy for researchers, well, first of all, we decided that we wanted to have complete stakeholder engagement in the process whilst we were conducting our action plan. So we ensured that values and that opinions and representations of all our researchers, ranging from our postgraduate researchers to our early career researchers, postdoctoral researchers, senior PIs and centre managers, as well as researcher support units, including the research support unit, HR, finance, that we had a wide range of opinions represented in our action plan. In order to do this, we held a number of half-day workshops, we commissioned an opinion survey, we also held focus groups, and we ensured that we gave as best a representation of these views as we could in our action plan. In order to implement those actions, we decided that we would set up some HR strategy for researchers committees. So the first committee I want to talk to you about is the HR strategy for researchers operational committee. So this committee is led by Dr. Mark White, who is the VP for Research, Innovation and Graduate Studies here at WIT. And Mark, along with a number of 22 representatives, ensure that the actions that we have identified in our action plan are implemented on a daily basis. In order to have oversight of the actions, we decided that we should set up what's known as a monitoring committee. And this monitoring committee is led by our president here, Professor Willie Donnelly. Willie, along with a number of internal representatives and a number of external representatives, ensures that the actions are implemented as best as possible, but they also advise on the direction that we should take the next strategy. And finally, we have some subgroups. So these subgroups assist with the day-to-day running of the action plans. They assist the HR Strategy for Researchers operational group. So in order to implement these actions, we decided that our commitment would focus on 4 generic themes. The main themes of this are researcher career development, researcher support, OTMR, and researcher well-being. So the stakeholder engagement operational subgroups are broken down into 3 main areas. So the first one, as I mentioned, is led by Dr. Mark White, and it looks at best practice in research. And some of the actions that came out of that would be the Code of Conduct for Research, which covers principles such as ethical principles for WIT researchers and also research integrity issues. And it outlines all of the codes of conduct that researchers should be abiding to when they are conducting research here at WIT. And it's a guidebook for them so that they know the processes that they should be adhering to. Then we have the HR supports, which is led by Sue Hurley, who is our HR manager here at WIT. And Sue and her team are trying to improve the HR processes here in WIT for researchers. And one of the projects that we are looking at currently is the introduction of e-recruitment for researchers. And finally, we look at the advancement and the promotion of HR strategy for researchers across the Institute. That is led by Susie Cullinan from the Research Support Unit and myself. So WIT's story within HR Excellence for Research. So as I mentioned, in 2012 we officially endorsed the Charter and Code. We were successful in gaining the HR Excellence in Research designation in 2014. And then we moved into the various phases. So the final phase that we are currently awaiting is our visit from the European Commission in 2020 to determine whether or not WIT should be successful in retaining the HR Excellence in Research designation going forward. So now I'd like to talk to you about how you can get involved in HR strategy for researchers. So one of the actions under the career development framework was that we would introduce a number of training and development opportunities for our researchers. So we have decided to introduce the HR Broadening Your Research Horizons training and development programme. So this programme is a number of opportunities for researchers to upskill their transferable skills and to ensure that their CV has a broad range of topics that are covered. So October is Researcher Month, and it kicks off on the 1st of October, whereby we have a number of providers coming over from the UK, including Dr. Steve Hutchinson, who's going to deliver a half-day workshop on research networking and researcher communication and engagement. On the 7th of October, we have what we call the Supervisors Seminar Series, where there are a number of lunchtime masterclasses, and we invite external speakers over to speak to our research supervisors here in the Institute on various different issues, from the do's and don'ts of PhD supervision, on research integrity, and this one with Professor McCormack from Queen Margaret University will focus on person-centeredness in research supervision. We also have the Odyssey Research Mentoring Programme, which I'll speak to you about further on, and various different dates for your diary that you can get involved in. So leading on to complementary supports for career management. In WIT, we actively want to promote research mentoring here. So we are going to introduce the Research Odyssey Mentoring Programme in November. This programme is essential for early career researchers to receive good mentorship during their time here in WIT to ensure that they are feeling supported and that they can navigate the political landscape here in WIT. We feel by engaging in a mentorship partnership, researchers can benefit from a wealth of knowledge from experienced researchers. They can help them with various aspects of their research, including how to create a research network, how to develop independent research areas, even down to grant writing or how to publish or where to publish. various different aspects of their research journey that they may need assistance with. So how do you find a mentor? So you can sign up for the half-day workshop, which is happening on the 12th of November with Tony Shrone from an external providing company. You can keep an eye on the research website where I'll be posting details of that specific event. And you can also look at the handbook and workshop details that will be circulated in the Research News newsletter. So as I mentioned, we will focus on researcher wellbeing here at WIT over the next action plan. The main focus for our researcher wellbeing events are around connection and self-care. We have organised a number of research wellbeing events over the last number of years here at WIT, ranging from researcher wellbeing walks along the Waterford Greenway. We also have researcher games, which consists of research teams pitting against each other in a game of research rounders, and various different research games to encourage team sports but also interdisciplinary research engagement. We will hold stress management and resilience building workshops, and there will also be mental health awareness charity events, including pumpkin carving and Pieta House charity money raising events. We hold network coffee mornings and also Just Come and Write sessions. So these sessions are where we book out a dedicated space in WIT across the different campuses on the first Friday of every month. So researchers can come along with other researchers, where they can just take the time out in a dedicated space where they can write a chapter of a publication or just mingle with other researchers and get advice on how to move on with that chapter of their research. We are constantly looking for suggestions, and I would encourage anybody who has some suggestions to get in contact with me. How can you get involved? So you can get involved by joining the HR Strategy for Researchers operational group. So you can contact me or directly to do that. We are always looking to represent our researchers in this group. You can sign up to the Broadening Your Research Horizons Researcher Development Programme. You can keep an eye on the Researcher News newsletter. And you can also follow us on Twitter at the Well Researcher Twitter handle. Finally, there are some useful links that I'd like to draw your attention to, and that is Your Access Ireland. It is the Charter and Code on the European Commission website, the HR Strategy for Researchers on the European Commission website, and finally, Vitae, a UK researcher development provider who has a wealth of knowledge on the supports to help you on your research journey. So that brings me to the end of my slides here, and I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for listening, and I wish you every success with your research journey here at WIT. There's my contact details if you want to get in contact with me via email or via telephone. Thank you.